Hello everyone, back to today's first video, doing JMA Friday for today's first video. As always on a Friday, we're having a detailed look at the weather for the month ahead, and this is going to take us towards the middle part of August. So we're beginning to get very late on now with the sort of 30-day updates in terms of this summer, going into what can be definitively described as late summer, really. And it has been a very hot and dry summer so far. I mean, we've been talking about temperature anomalies for July so far, around 4 degrees above average. It was 2 degrees above average during June. Also, one of our driest Junes on record. That dry weather has continued into the first half of July as well. So this has been a really hot and dry first half of the summer. But is this going to keep up into the second half of the summer? We will be at the second half of the summer in a couple of days, sort of meteorologically speaking. So middle of July is kind of like the halfway point of the summer season, which statistically anyway runs from the 1st of June to the 31st of August. Of course, that's questionable because it can be really hot before June, it can be really hot after June, after August, so it's a little bit questionable, but it certainly has been a very hot and dry first half of the summer, and we will see whether these conditions are likely to keep up over the next month going towards the middle of August. So hang around and I'll have that for you in a moment. Just to say that today's second video will be coming this afternoon, and that one will have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days in detail. We may have some thunderstorms on the way. We'll have more about that this afternoon. But we're going to begin with the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from the JMA. These are broken down into weekly periods. The first week period will take us from today, the 13th, through to the 20th of July. Blue extrapolates to low pressure, yellow, orange and red to high pressure, and we're looking at the North Pole view down of the Northern Hemisphere. So that's the North Pole of the Northern Hemisphere, and the latitudes of the Northern Hemisphere are around there. So for the weekend, as I say, this takes us from the 13th through to the 20th of July. We have this area of above average heights to the east and the northeast of the country, with below average heights to our north to northwest, and then above average heights to the central Atlantic. So rather a complicated pattern, but we are seeing a little bit more influence from the flow and from a jet stream as well. We've also got this low pressure down here that could be threatening thundery weather from France to southern areas. A little bit more influence from the jet stream there, possibly producing at the very least some showers, maybe some thunderstorms. It is still warm though, because we're still bringing the air pretty much up from a southerly type direction, so we're still talking like pretty warm temperatures, but just a little bit more showery compared to what we've had in recent weeks. And then we go through to week 2, and this takes us from the 20th through to 27th of July, and this one we find above average heights building back towards us from the Atlantic, really. So we've still got this large ridge up to our northeast, and the Azores High, the ridge on the Azores High, anyway, or the extension from the Azores High, is building closer. So we've got below average heights around Greenland and Iceland. So there's very little change here, really. The jet stream still remains up to our north, still have high pressure close to us. It would still be producing a lot of warm weather there, I think, possibly even hot, and fairly dry as well, I would have thought, with that one. And then we're off to weeks 3 and 4. This takes us from the 27th of July through to the 10th of August, with above average heights continuing to be to the northeast. So this ridge over Scandinavia looks like it's going nowhere fast, if this is right. Below average heights are in the middle of the Atlantic, so a little bit of a battle might be taking place here. Maybe slightly more influence from the Atlantic trying to get in, but again we have got this ridge to our east and to our northeast, and so I would think the upshot of that is that it's likely to be staying very warm through the first half of August, possibly hot. The only difference is that with pressure lowering in the Atlantic, this is probably more unstable conditions. So although still very warm, yes, I suspect we're probably looking at more in the way of heavy showers thunderstorms, probably thundery breakdowns taking place here through this early part of August. But temperatures would still be holding up, just the flow and the wind direction is still from a southerly or maybe even southeasterly direction. Let's have a look at the tropical and mid-latitude view. So the British Isles is just here in the top right-hand corner of the chart as you are looking at it on this view. We can't see Scandinavia, but we know there's a big ridge up there to our northeast in the week ahead, with the ridge also out in the middle of the Atlantic, below average heights to the south and below average heights to the northwest. It's a rather complicated pattern, but just a little bit more influence from the jet stream, perhaps. The temperature anomaly in the week ahead with the JMA is holding up very much above average, between 1 and 2 degrees above average, so a very warm week still to come. What about precipitation? So even though we've got a little bit more influence from the jet stream, overall rainfall anomalies are still drier than average for the UK and Ireland, indicating that certainly for the week ahead, the prolonged dry spell goes on. But I do think there is a growing threat perhaps of some heavy thundery showers at times. This is week 2. This is the 20th through 27th of July, with the above average heights again extending into the UK from the Atlantic. The flow and the jet is going off up to our north. That means the temperature anomaly is warm. It's actually turning a little bit warmer there through that final full week of July. So we're talking about temperature anomalies between 1 and 3 degrees above average close to the UK. So a hot end to July if the JMA is correct here. A little bit more precipitation, particularly so for the north and west, presumably with such high temperature anomalies. That would be pretty thundery, so it's probably indicating the chance of more in way of thundery conditions for northern and western parts of the country, but still dry in the south and the southeast. And then we go through to weeks 3 and 4, where we still have that above average height area to our northeast. We've got below average heights in the Atlantic, so the flow and the jet is probably doing something like that, which means we're still pulling up the air from a southerly to southeasterly type direction. So temperature anomalies are still remaining well above average. This is a hot month coming up if the JMA is right. There's no end to the heat wave, no breakdown. Temperature anomalies stay significantly, substantially warmer than average, between 1 and 3 degrees above average. But over time, we are seeing a signal for more in the way of precipitation. So I think that backs up what I was saying, that particularly as we get through to the early part of August, although the temperatures are staying hot, it's much more unstable, with the increasing threat and growing threat of heavy showers, thunderstorms breaking out. So after the prolonged dry spell that we've had, the JMA is seeing that we break down that dry spell and we turn things increasingly unstable with heavy showers and thunderstorms, but still with the heat wave continuing, still with the high temperatures persisting through to the middle part of August. So that's the JMA. What about CFSV2? Is that in agreement? Again, these are 500 millibar heights. They're broken down into week periods. The first week period will take us from the 13th through to the 19th of July. With above average heights, let's change the colour. We've got above average heights to the northeast of the British Isles, also in the middle of the Atlantic. Below average heights are down there and also up there. So it's very similar to what the JMA is showing. A little bit more influence from the flow and the jet, but we still remain on the hot side, or the warm side of the jet stream, and possibly just threatening some thunderstorms or thundery showers in places. Then go through to week 2. This is the 20th through 26th of July. Again, above average heights are in over Scandinavia, so lots of high pressure to come up there and in the middle of the Atlantic. The flow and the jet doing something rather like that. So still pulling the air up from the south and southeast. It will still remain very warm, if not hot, through towards the latter stages of July. But probably as pressure is lowering, an increasing threat of thundery showers or thunderstorms breaking out. Then we're through to week 3, and this one is the 27th of July through to the 2nd of August, still with the above average heights over Scandinavia. Below average heights are just to southwest of Ireland and the UK, so a little bit more unsettled with that one, the Flurma jet doing something like that. We're possibly just on the cool side of the jet there, so that could be a slightly cooler and rather more changeable very end to July and start to August, probably with risk of thunderstorms. And then we go through to week 4, which is the 3rd through to the 9th of July. The above average heights then are kind of centred across Central Europe. So they're like Denmark, Germany, that sort of area, with below average heights around Greenland and Iceland. It means that the flow and the jet will be doing something like that. And actually, that could be really hot when you get high pressure in over Germany. That could start to pull in some very hot air from kind of like Central Europe and down into the Mediterranean. Probably still quite unstable with that low pressure on Greenland and Iceland, but that could be a heat wave through the first week of August. Definitely no sign of a definitive breakdown to the heat wave. This temperature anomaly for the next week, so coming out substantially warmer than average from the 13th through to the 19th of July. Week 2 temperature anomalies from the 20th through to the 26th of July are also coming out significantly warmer than average, up to 2 degrees or more above average. Week 3 temperature anomalies from the 27th of July to 2nd of August. They're coming out hotter than average too. And then week 4 rounds it all off. It's going to be a really hot month if this is right, from the 3rd through to the 9th of July. We're still coming out warmer than average. So no sign between both of these months. There is no sign of an end to this very warm, hot spell of weather that we've been in now, really since April. We started going with this temperature anomaly of 2 degrees above average or more in April, and there's no sign of that ending in the next month. So from April through to August, we really have had a very, very hot spell of weather, if this is right, prolonged hot weather. And if it was to turn cooler or colder towards the end of the year, I don't think anybody could grumble, because we really have had a prolonged spell of above average temperatures over the past few months, and likely to continue if these models are right for the next month as well. Finally, precipitation from the 13th to the 19th of July, the coming week, is close to average, so it is a little bit more unsettled with the precipitation. There's a little bit more precipitation around than we've had through recent weeks, because it's been substantially drier than average. So we're not talking about a particularly wet week, but we are talking about a little bit more precipitation around, probably from hit and miss, heavy showers and thunderstorms. I'll have more about that in today's second video. This is week 2 from the 20th of July to the 2nd of August. And again, close average with precipitation for England and Wales, maybe hinting at being a little bit, ever slightly on the wetter than average side. So there's definitely more showers around than we have had recently. This is week 3 precipitation, and again, coming out close to average, not a big deviation. And then week 4, again, it's close to average, possibly hints at being a little bit wetter than average to the west of the country, but again, not a big deviation. I think we are setting up a more unsettled spell in terms of heavy showers and thunderstorms. So we've been in this really long, dry spell of weather, and I think that is going to be, well, necessarily say it's on its way out, but I think we are seeing good evidence that over the next few weeks we will have more precipitation around than we've had, and so therefore we can expect more showers, thunderstorms, that kind of thing. The temperatures are holding up though, so this is just a more unstable hot pattern, if you like. It's not the prolonged high pressure sitting over top of the country dry and hot pattern that we've been in, but it is still a very warm to hot pattern overall, and it's unstable, and that's what's triggering this growing threat of heavy showers and thunderstorms as we go through in towards August. Right, so that's how it's looking today. No sign of an end to the hot spell, basically, but more in way of showers and thunderstorms. And picking up that theme will be today's second video, where we'll have a look at the chance of more in way of showers and storms through the course of next week. So come back for that this afternoon. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.